Okay, this is a short video, probably not all encompassing, about a little bit about what the Vision Farming project that I've been talking about over the last while is about. We started in August, we sort of launched in early November, really in January we'll see us really kicking off. And the team in Vision Farming is myself and Gardner Grain young brothers Stephen, Danny and Joe, and on our two farms we have Edward and Stephen, and backed ably by our IT expert Yano Evans. So that's our team. I am by far the eldest member of the team, which is pluses and minuses, and we have this vision we're starting out with, developing people to help build a better farming future. So I suppose how are we going to do that? And we've lots of ideas that maybe I mightn't be talking about today, but that are coming. We're doing it, I suppose, starting with an online platform, and we are going to be selling products. Particularly for me, what's really important is the training element. And we've two dairy farms which have been leased and been run by Joe, Edward and Stephen, and they're really important because we'll be building all of our ideas from what the farms are doing and where they are. We started with a product online about 3 weeks ago. Identified probably external heat seals would have a role on some farms this year as part of the process. You can see a video on how I'm using the product on farm, on one of our farms on my YouTube channel, Tommy the Vet. But I suppose the key thing is with every product, the training is really important. So we'll have little QR codes on all our products, and that will take you, when you scan it, to a video about how to use the product, but also the other areas you need to be thinking about, not just what the product does in that particular area of animal health or other products we may have. So the training is absolutely fundamental. It'll be tied into all parts of every element of the business, and I suppose I see us maybe as the core element of the business is training. So we're developing a number of training programs. We've one done at the moment, we've one half done and two more to do before Christmas. So it's been busy, but it's really exciting, and we're using video training as our way to develop these training programs because it is an online business. I suppose looking at what we're trying to do on the farms and with the project, we've set out a 5-year plan and given ourselves time, and I think maybe we might even need more time, but looking at 5 key areas both on farm and with our training, and that's people development. So one of our first training courses is personal management course with an executive business coach with massive experience, and it's something I've learned has probably been the most impactful for me in my career, is by focusing more and more on myself, what I'm doing, who I am, time management, all those key things. I think that's really, really key, fundamental part of what we're trying to do. So people development is the first one within our own team and sort of with the training we do. The next is an obvious one for me, is animal health and welfare, and we're doing a lot of work on the farm at the moment on that. And the beauty of the farms, the scary bit and the beauty of it is the farms have a lot of challenges. So we're in the real world. I think we're very, very relatable. How do we work through that? And the farms have to be profitable. The solutions have to be practical. So they're really challenging me. A lot of our training will come in this area to start off with. And then obviously nutrition and production. The farms must be profitable. The production from the farm, how we're feeding the cows, how we're doing that. That's a key pillar as well. And working with experts in all these areas is obviously very important. Then our second 2 pillars are soil and biodiversity and the environment. And obviously we're picking these pillars because they're important and they're going to really impact the future of farming, and how as commercial farmers are we going to, with a small team and limited knowledge in these areas, build these plans, our 5-year plan. And we're trying to be smart about it. We've an interesting little project that we're working on called Project Nurture within this 5-year program, and that should be hopefully kicking off in January or February in the whole area of biodiversity. So what are the lessons we've learned? We've learned lots. I suppose we're a team, and nothing functions unless the team functions, and we probably failed. One of our first hurdles was communication, particularly maybe my fault, going way too far ahead with the ideas of what we want to do and not bringing all the team with us. And it's the sort of baseline for any good business is communication, and we're learning how to get better at that. So I'm out on farm once or twice a week in both farms. We're meeting nearly weekly with the team. We're meeting much more frequently as a team ourselves, and we have this concept and this line that we're working off, and I think it's applicable to farming and maybe to life itself. It's about progress over perfection. We don't have these fabulous showpiece farms. we farms that have had a huge amount of challenges, need a lot of work. So we want to make progress. How do we do that? We need to collaborate with experts. We need to bring people in that we can work with in all these areas that are going to help us get better. We've got to look towards the future, and this is, I suppose, I'm unfortunately a futurist, so I'm always thinking what the future will bring and what will it look like and how can we adapt and change. And I suppose the 5 pillars allow us to focus in some of the challenges within the farms and maybe with our training towards farming in the future. Because I see us in the business of human health in the products we produce on the farms, and everything will be geared into that future. And we're using technology. We have an animal health monitoring system in both farms. We're looking at farm software to try and measure where we're at. So we have 2 dairy farms at the moment, and hopefully we'll expand that out to a flock, maybe dairy to beef unit over the coming months, and maybe certainly by next year. And we're looking at both Forchester and Anna, the 2 farms, and we're sort of starting at the baseline with animal health because it's probably the area that we need to do most work on. Mastitis is an issue in both farms, cell count is an issue this year in Forchester. Space is an issue when we've come indoors. As well, looking at a cow per cubicle and how we move cows around to really try and maximise or optimise cow behaviour and welfare in the system. That's been a challenge. We'll be looking at parasites next year in this farm as well, looking at fecal egg counts, how we can reduce our warming regimes, how can we build that out. This is quite a good herd of cows with a lot of productive capability, and they possibly haven't hit that full potential yet. We're looking at how we transition them better, and that weekly focus on I suppose nutrition inputs and outputs on the farm. We need to work a little bit hard on calf health here. Facilities are going to be a challenge. We have a lot of calves coming in February. How are we going to manage that in the real world? So there's lots and lots of work. The farm team at the moment are getting so much thrown at them, and we're trying to work, and I think we'll be in a better position next year when we get our plan together, but we are making a lot of progress. We started really here in August when we began the project, really from my involvement in the farm, looking at cell count. We have made a lot of progress, but we lost some of that progress through maybe poor communication and maybe some mistakes that we made. But we also got a viral outbreak in the cows which challenged the cows' immunity as well. I think we were coming into the dry period, and we've used blanket dry cow therapy. We've really focused on what bugs are there. We've both Strep aureus and Staph aureus, and we've looked at clinical mastitis records. We've honed in on milk recording, and I think we've done as much as we can at this stage of the year as we dry off cows, and we really need to focus now on the next stage of the cows, supporting their immune systems, CMT testing, keeping on track on our problem cows there, and looking for a big reduction and good cure rates over the dry period as we build out our milk quality plan for the year ahead. What are we doing on the farm? Winter planning, looking at body condition score. The cows need to gain body condition score. Where is feed space? Where is, as I said, we've been moving cows around a little bit to try and get close to that cow per cubicle that we want to achieve long term. And we're also looking at mineral analysis, silage analysis, feed values, what we need to feed, how we're feeding, and we have a plan there in place. And we will be telling more about the planning as we go forward. I think we've been in the setup phase, but the storytelling part will be important as we go forward. Both farms are starting to run farm software systems, which are very important for measuring as much as we can. We've got a SmackTex room and bolus in both herds, and that's already proving incredibly interesting on the data that's coming out. Now, a big mistake on my part, I talk about cow-centered approach. I had missed the fact that we were probably a water trough or maybe too short in our cubicle house, maybe not short but from a positioning perspective, and this system told us straight away that water intakes were poorer than they should be. So I think we're trying to build this stuff out, we're getting there. Anna, there's a lot of work to do in Anna, probably more work to do with than Anna there is in Forchester. Fertility is a big challenge, it's a huge focus. We had a lot of lame cows towards the end of the year, roadways were poor. We also have a Mortellaro problem, we started foot baiting, and that's been working well. Again, mastitis is an issue, more so cell count at both farms, and there's a lot of chronically high cell count cows in the herd. We've cultured Staph aureus and we're working through that. Space is a real issue here for the farm. 60 heifers bought in to calve down, and we're having to look at our cubicle facilities from a perspective of cubicles being a little bit short, not enough of them. We've utilised larger sheds, straw-bedded sheds to try and move animals around. And I think we're getting there, and it will help us for better transitioning this winter, but it still will create huge challenges for the farm team themselves. So we're aiming for this cow-centred approach, like I have talked about in my own no-field, And it's brilliant for me because this is the real world. And how does that work? It's not about building brand new sheds straight away. It's about being smart about what we do this winter with an objective to maybe improve accommodation next winter again. What has worked, I think we're at a top level, we're trying to reduce antibiotics by 50% in 5 years, but I think we need to be more ambitious with that and in a shorter period of time. So we focused heavily in on treatment plans and protocols for our sick cows, identifying this information coming off SmackTex to what we do around anti-inflammatories and fluid therapy, and that's starting to take shape and work. We're also culturing our mastitis samples to see, should we just give supportive treatment or do they need antibiotic treatment? We have the strep ubris problem in Farchester, which is a challenge, so we've identified all the cows that have had clinical mastitis the last 3 months, and we've gone after them specifically with a certain type of dry cow tube for strep ubris. So look, we've a lot of work to do. We're taking out high priority critically important antibiotics in January from both farms. How will that work for us? What do we need to do? And I think we need to be very focused on management and prevention, and then really get good at what our treatment protocols are and measure and manage as we go along. And that sounds simple on a whiteboard, but it's a huge amount of work in reality. We need to put our vaccine plans together for both farms and be very specific about what are the challenges from an infectious disease point of view, what do we need to vaccinate, when do we need to vaccinate. We're going to be very focused with the calf health challenges in both farms, and again, space might be against us on microbiome and gut health in calves. We have a few interesting ideas been discussed at the moment on that. The story is important for what we do in the farms because it will reflect into these areas, which will reflect out here to the platform itself. So that's a brief overview on the idea of vision farming. Again, we'll be talking more and more about it. We're all busy, we're all doing other jobs as well, and we're trying to build this idea platform. And to the young team, that's one thing about young people, they have lots and lots of energy. I commend them, and it's been so exciting so far. So that's it, that's an overview of vision farming. You're going to hear more and more from me about it. That's it, happy safe farming.